Okay. So now moving on to the structure of case competition. So I think you, like a lot of you must have, encountered case competitions till now that we have had Eximius, Vista, and even Red Brick Summit. So like most of the corporate competitions and even college competitions would be structured in two ways. First would be either there would be a campus round where a campus winner would be selected. And in that case, what you would do is you would first fight among IIM Bangalore or your local campus, IIM Ahmedabad, IIM Calcutta, from wherein a team would win, and then you would go in to represent IIM Bangalore in the national finals or regional finals. So, and the second category of competitions is direct nationals. For example, directly need to submit a PPT, and then top 15 to 20 teams would be selected, and you would have to present directly. And the third category of competitions, which is sort of a mix of campus and direct nationals, would be where first round is a quiz. So these are the three broad categories of competitions that we would have. So now the campus round is sort of the most easiest one to go forward with, because you are just competing within IIM Bangalore campus. So it is advisable to take part, at least like take part in almost every competition which is within IIM Bangalore, because that gives you an opportunity to just fight among yourselves, and your chances of winning are obviously better given as compared to the direct nationals. As far as quiz competitions are concerned, just like no matter whether you are interested in the competition, you want to do it or not, just give the first round of quiz, because that will take you like 20 to 30 minutes of your time. And if you reach the next round, there are very high chances, because a lot of competitions we have seen that about, let's say, 5,000 to 6,000 people participate, and through the quiz almost 100 teams are filtered. So that's a very easy way to get to 100 teams, which is very difficult even in campus and direct nationals. Direct nationals, there are a few competitions. For example, Colgate was one, Vodafone Idea was one. In these competitions, there are mostly 2 to 3 rounds. So you would need to first submit a PPT, like say a 2-pager PPT or a 3-pager PPT. Then you would have a regional round where you would, let's say, uh, 30 to 35 teams or maybe 50 teams, depending upon what is the structure of the competition, would be selected. Then those 50 teams would compete, and then let's say the final would happen, which would consist of 10 teams. So direct nationals, there is no discretion between the campuses. Almost all the colleges are eligible, so the competitions is very fierce in direct nationals. So my advice would be to start off with, let's say, campus round competition, see what you're doing, how are you gearing up with the competitions, how's your PPT compared to your peers in IIM Bangalore, whether you're winning or not, whether you're reaching campus finals or not. So that would give you some idea or some flavor of the case competitions. And once you're confident enough that you can come up in top 50 nationals as well, you can directly go on to nationals as well. So anything else you guys want to add?
No, that's perfect. I mean, yes, participate in each and every campus round. That will be really helpful for you guys. You get to learn a lot, right? There are no winnings
Oh,
before losings.
true. And also, like once you reach campus finals, you can utilize that point in your resume as well, and that's sort of the easiest point you can get for your CV, because 5 teams would be selected from IIM Bangalore, and that sort of is the easiest way to go ahead. Yeah. And just to like add on the previous slide, well, you would have college competitions, like from Vista, Eximius, Red Brick Summit, and even Kolkata's Fest. And also you would have corporate competitions, which would be typically companies like Reliance, Airtel, any company, Marico, ITC. Every company would have one of its competitions. So you need to keep a balance between the two competitions. You can't run after only corporate competitions, or you can't run after college competitions. So definitely corporate competitions have way higher value than the college competitions, but they are in turn more difficult to win, and they require much greater effort. So it's a trade off between the effort and the result that you get. So good, like the takeaways from the college competitions could be is one thing is learning, like how you just go about a case competitions. It's sort of like a practice, sort of, it's like practice will make you perfect sort of a thing, where the greater number of PPTs that you'll make, the better you will get. In college competitions, since they're so greater in number, because Vista itself would have, let's say, 10 competitions, you can participate in 5, you can make a PPT in a night, but you can't do that in a corporate competition. So that is where college competitions kind of help to speed you up and uh, essentially tell you that what it essentially takes to make a 10 slider and present in 10 to 15 minutes. So that is where college competitions are like were important for me, and I learned a lot, especially in the first half of my sort of uh, case competition. So that is where college competitions help. And once you are confident and you have like reached finals and seen winning ppts, and or maybe have given winning ppts, you have the confidence to go out and do well in corporates as well. So I would advise keep a mix of corporate and college competitions. If like do both, but start off with maybe some college competitions, and then once you are through with few college competitions, go to the corporate competitions.
I just want to add one thing here. So basically, college competitions prepares you for your corporate competitions in general. So because the number of slides that you would be making can directly be used in corporate competition. For example, a financial slide, the template of that might be similar to what you might be using in a corporate competition. So my advice is do as many college level competitions as well, because that will give you a flair of where the thing is working, what is the best design and template and team that which you want to work with. So you can experiment with your team members, etc., in college level competitions, and then go ahead with the corporate level competitions, which are better and difficult to crack.
Right. Okay. So now we broadly have three different kinds of competition categories, which we'll discuss one by one. First would be related to any idea or business plan. Second is any case based or problem statement where you would be given a specific problem or a specific 2-3 pager case, and you need to come up with a solution and recommendations for the company. And third would be finance based competitions. So we'll discuss them one by one. Karthik, if you can take over now.
Sure. So we'll talk about certain B plan and idea based competitions. Here are a few major ones: Reliance TUP, HUL, Lime, Interrobank, 3M, and all these competitions. So even between B plan idea based competitions, there are two types. One would allow you to pitch any product that you like, any idea like Reliance, 3M, and others like the ITC, HUL, RB would want you to extend their own product line. So innovate around it all, innovate around Savlon, right? Innovate around any of the Marico's products, right? So yeah.
Yes, yes. So
So
basically, like majorly for the one competition where you have the similar kind of an idea to present, any that you would want to, you can work regressively well. That is what we did. We worked really hard for TUP and ensure that the similar kind of an idea was used for all idea-based competition where we can pitch a similar any idea that we would want. But for ITC, for Marico, for RB, we had to pitch another product extension. So basically, it works in that way.
right. So now we'll tell you the basic flow or the basic things which must be covered. You can tweak around their order a little, but every idea-based competition must start with the problem addressed, right? So you must tell that what is the problem that you are uh, addressing and how big that problem is. If that problem is just faced by you and me, you and I, then it's not a very big problem, right? It should be faced by lots and lots of people that you can actually create a profitable business around it. So majorly you have to tell about the secondary research on what the problem is and how important that problem is. So our problem was around pollution, around sanity, women hygiene. So data points related to those problems are available on various research done by companies, corporates, researchers, etc. So pick those researches, tell how big your problem is, tell what are the pain points of the consumers that you're addressing. That should be the first slide that you put out there, and that should include some numbers as well. It should not be like, I feel this is a good problem, my mom also faces, I also face this problem, so I want to address this. Nah, that will not work. So there should be some verifiable numbers that tell you that yes, it's a big problem which you should address.
Okay. Next is about your idea. Basically, your idea should be crystal clear, as in you should be able to explain your idea in a one single sentence to anyone who's listening, and it should be as simple as to a layman who doesn't know anything about the technicalities, or for example, no way related to the product itself. So it should be as simple to hear, and clarification should be provided here after. Secondly, when you're pitching an idea, you should also have what is known as MVP, or a prototype, or a product in mind. What is how you're gonna be going forward with that idea. It should not be just a particular random idea, which is not gonna be executable in future, or that cannot see light of the day in the near future. So you should be keeping in the mind the execution and implementation side of that idea. You should not focus too much on the technicalities. Our product that we pitched on for TUP was a proper technical product, but we ensured that the technicalities revolving around that product was not so pitched so much regressively on our slides, but we had those on our appendix slides, so that everyone gets to know whenever there's a Q&A around happening. Yeah.
Right. Well, then comes the value proposition. So whatever you've pitched as an idea or a product, what value does it provide to consumers? Now you must have read in your marketing, value could be emotional, functional, social, etc. But here you can tell about the financial benefits, the functional benefits, and how do those functional benefits counter the problems that you have already mentioned. So while you've mentioned your idea in the second slide, you must tell that how your product actually addresses the problem, right? And why the consumers would really buy your product. So this more towards the consumer's lens, not your lens. So your lens is slide 2, consumer's lens is slide 3. So clear indication of what is the value that the consumers would get out of it.
Okay. The next one is proof of concept, where suppose you have an idea you would want to test with few of the customers around, right? And try to gain any or primary, secondary research survey around those things, where you would want to gain some validation about your idea, post some survey results, and some customer preferences demonstration accordingly. So what we call as the business lean canvas model, where we have the initial and the final version, how did it get evolved when you have a particular customer segment identified, and how would you go about changing that entire revenue model and the product itself. So you should be able to design well your proof of concept in terms of whether what is the communication. For example, in Mondelez, we remember we had to make a proper proof of concept in terms of what communication that we want to communicate to the final user of the product in a single sentence. So that should be tested well with the customers, whether the kind of idea that the product wants to reflect, is it getting stated in that one statement. So all those things should be taken care of in terms of proof of concept. When it's a proper technical product idea, it has to be validated through some research, secondary research, or a survey details. But when it's some coming through from a FMCG product kind of an idea, it has to be validated through customers, maybe in life.
Probably just take your product out there to customers, test your hypotheses, etc. Something that you've done in your EMA section, EMA class, yeah. Then comes market. So you must tell that what is the total addressable market for your idea, right? But of course, when you're starting up, you can't address the whole market. So TAM just tells you that, yes, this is the scope of my idea. But you also should tell that what is the serviceable addressable market and serviceable obtainable market. So TAM, SAM, and SOM. These are the three things that you must mention. Now, what is serviceable addressable market? So let's say, I'm a high-tech company, so I'll just focus on the urban sector and not the rural sector. So while total addressable market, there are mobile phones out there in rural areas as well. But if I'm providing an alternate charging mechanism, I probably provide it to just the urban section initially. So my urban area becomes the serviceable addressable market. But in the short run, I may not be able to cater to the whole urban segment, right? I might only focus on the tier 1 areas, tier 1 cities. So that becomes my serviceable obtainable market, which is a short-term target segment. So this becomes a top-down approach. That okay, total addressable market, SAM, and then so on. But there's also a bottom-up approach, which is used in competitions like ITC, HUL, etc. What is the bottom-up approach? You figure out certain cohorts which you will target. So certain early adopters which you can target. So if you have buyer personas already identified, that okay, I'll share a couple of slides around ITC. That okay, a caring mother, an office dweller, these kind of segments are my target segments. So that becomes a bottom-up approach, that you have already identified a user and then you figure out what is the size of that segment. So this is really important, that you tell that what is the scope and the size of your idea.
Next up is competitive advantage. Basically, something what will distinguish your product or your idea from your competitors in the market. Maybe in terms of any significant invention that you would want to do in the product, or some kind of, if it's a company related idea, maybe in terms of their distribution channels or strategy that is already there, which cannot be so rigorously done by your competitors in the market. So, what is your competitive advantage that you would want to portray? It can be in terms of any particular patent as well. For example, for us, the major competitive advantage that we had was that we had a proper patent file for our product, which cannot be copied at all. So that was one competitive advantage that we had. So ensure that you convey this thing very properly in your presentation, because this is the question that is asked majorly in Q&A rounds. Why can't this company or why can't this so and so start such a product? Why you? Right? So such kind of questions will have to be tackled really well. So ensure that you convey the competitive advantage part really.
Right, and for the ITC and HUL kind of a competition, you should tell them that, how would you leverage their existing capabilities, and that becomes a competitive advantage for them, right? Then, very important, go to market and financials. So how would you actually realize your product? Like, how would you manufacture, operate, sell? What's the revenue model? How would you charge money from your consumers? Any estimated financials? Um, for HUL, ITC, promotional plans becomes an important part. So you should clearly mention your go-to market, but that should come later in the PPT, right? First, you should mention what the product and everything is. Then you tell that, yes, this is how we'll actually realize and bring our product to market. Financials is very important. Yeah. So have a CA friend.
Okay. Next up is future plans. So basically, whenever you project an idea, you have to be ensured that the person you are showing your idea to basically knows that you are into this idea for a longer time. It's not just for a case competition, but you are into the product that you would want to build. You have at least have to portray that. So you should have a quarter wise or a yearly wise break it. And what is the future plan for this idea or with this product? Where do you see this product going forward? That should be conveyed clearly. In one of our slides, we show how we designed our future plan regarding our product. So that has to be ensured. So these are the possible tick marks that you should have in your PPT when you present an idea level competition.
Right. And the major important part out of all these eights are the number two, which is the idea. If your idea is good, these things matter less. If your idea is not that good, even if you have perfect slides, you'll not win. Right? So brainstorm around the idea. That's the major important part. Now we'll show you some slides. Don't take the pain of screenshotting them. We'll send you the slides anyways. Yeah. All right. So this is our ITC slide. So this is how we actually told them that what the problem is. Now, mind you, for idea-based competitions, you should not have too much text on the slide because you will be presenting them, right? So it's not like a case comp slide or it's not like you have to just submit your slide deck and they will shortlist depending on how much research you've done. I've not put in complete sentences also here because I will be pointing out that, okay, I'm referring to this, I'm referring to that. And that way you actually grab the attention of the jury. So put out your point straight out there, big point, like 82% women complain of droplets on toilet seats, so therefore I want a product to eradicate their problem, right? So that's a good way to show your problem in the first slide.
So next is about your current scenarios and your the current state of the product. So basically some research about why is this a problem majorly in this particular market or in this particular target segment. You need to ensure that that is conveyed clearly. And what are the different issues that the current people are facing? So like for example, we had a toilet seat swap, right? So we explained what are the different four current scenarios that people generally tend to do without this product. So ensure that you are explaining your idea pretty in depth so that visually it's more appealing to people who when they are like listening to your product.
Right.
This is majorly around this.
Well, then when you show your idea, it's very important that you visualize your idea. So like this is the product. So we actually we designed the whole product in the Photoshop that, okay, this is how the product should look. This is how the packaging should look. And this really generates attraction from the jury itself that yes, they've gone beyond just the idea. They've actually tried to realize that how the product would be used, how the product would look, what generates, and how the packing would look like, how the whole manufacturing would take place. So that really helps. And you see that the slides are still clean, right? Not too much text.
Yeah. One thing that we ensured during all our competitions this year was we ensured a video in our PPT, a video demonstration of our product, so that this gives you an added advantage to the jury that these people have actually worked seriously for this idea and they've put in effort. So that shows on a presentation. So for this idea itself, we also had a video demonstrating how will the product be used and who are the customers who will be using it. So you can do that as well going forward. Yeah. Next about the packaging. So this is like just one of our ITC idea where you need to ensure that every little detail about your idea you should be very clear and thorough with, so that in a Q&A round, the person who's asking you, he should know that you have actually worked on this and thought through the entire cycle, starting with the idea till the final product delivery. So in the entire circle, you should be properly well versed with what are you going to do with the product.
So this is how you actually make a bottom-up market sizing slide. So we have 3 buyer personas. Since we made a product around women, so we say that, okay, the caring mother is one cohort, college dweller is one cohort, the aspirational associate, which is the working woman, she is one cohort. And then we estimated their size. So while we identified the cohort on ourselves, but then the estimation comes top down, right? So we identified that, okay, we're targeting this segment, and then we go top down to estimate their size in India. And that's the target, that market that we are trying to capture, right? So this is how you can make buyer personas. Should include some psychographic behavioral profiles as well. Demographics to come. They are not
This
really important. Yeah.
this part of the slide we learned later in our case preparation then, but we never did in Reliance TUP. So this was a learning for us during our case competitions as well when you go through. So you will also keep developing and learn, pick up few skills when you take part in a lot of competitions.
Yeah.
So this is explainable once again. You have to define your total market size, what you are trying to target. This was the addressable market, the serviceable, and the optimal, that is that you can realize the market.
So this is the slide from our TUP or Blaze, which is a top-down approach. So depends on what your product is, you can actually figure out a top-down or a bottom-up approach. Well done.
Next, yeah.
Yeah.
So next is around the competitor sides. Basically, you should have a product related where how it differentiating. So this was a ITC idea itself, where you have to show how is your product different from your competitors in the market. So differentiate in terms of whether it's an idea as well. You need to differentiate in terms of the kind of offerings that you're providing or what kind of services that you'll be providing differently from your current services that are already existing.
Right. So you should actually tell that, yes, no matter what product or idea you bring, there will be some competitors out there. So how your product is better than them and why you will be able to, capture or cannibalize their products. Very important. Then a slide around, the group energy. So whenever you're pitching a product extension for any brand, you must tell them that how they can actually use it as use their own existing technology and capabilities as an unfair advantage. So while you must have heard of brands like P-Safe, which also work for women hygiene in washrooms, if ITC brings their product around women hygiene in washrooms, they can actually leverage their own already existing distribution channel, the Savlon disinfectant, etc. So that is a big advantage to them. So to mention that, because they don't want to create a product that is too different for them. They want a product that requires a lot of innovation, but less amount of tweaking their manufacturing facilities to produce.
So in terms of the financials, you should clearly lay out the three major. So we actually wanted to ensure that in financials you have graphical representation, where what is your attainable net margin, sales, and penetration that you are projecting in your financial demonstration, and ensure that that is backed by rigorous calculation. So it cannot be that you can goof off in this any numbers here, because those
Right.
numbers can be asked during your Q&A, and that is relatable. That is something which is
And
yeah.
yeah, for idea competitions, Excels are boring. So please put up charts. Charts are easy to read, easy to understand. They're very difficult for any person to go through all the Excel numbers when you're presenting. So do have major takeaways as charts and do show them. That will really help you.
Yeah. This
Right,
was
Gaurav?
our future plan slides. So what are we gonna target in the future, quarter wise that we are trying to put. This was related to our base slide as well. So one thing I just want to tell you, you might have seen a lot of icons and a lot of graphical icons in our proper PPT. So that has been taken from Noun Project. There are 2, 3 websites,
Flat
Noun
icon.
Project, Free Icon, etc.
Flat icon,
That
yeah.
you can utilize well for these icons. Also for photographs, you can have unsplash.com where you get a really good high definition images for free. So these 3, 4 sites you can have a look at when you do for your quiz competition.
Right, so this is the last slide that you will have as the road so far. This is a good template that I had, which tells you that okay, quarter on quarter, this is the thing that we are targeting. Finally, parting words around the B plan idea based competition. See, if you're just going for a resume point, it's very difficult. You'll not be able to sustain your energies, right? We did win around 8 to 10 competitions, but we participated in over 40 competitions. So you're bound to face defeat, you're bound to face rejection, right? And if you're just aiming for resume points, you will lose hope and you'll just keep all the competitions away, like nahi ho raha bhai, kuch fayda nahi hai, right? But if your aim is to learn and go above and beyond the curriculum, you will sustain. If you see the left gif, right, we actually prototyped the idea in IIT Bangalore's lab. We went there, spent days over there to make our product, really test the product in lab, talk to various professors. The right gif tells you that how many customer interactions we did as part of our TUP competition. So it requires a lot of effort, and no matter what the result could have been around the TUP, that it still will remain one of the prime points of my IIM Bangalore journey. So if your aim is to learn something new, do take part in these competitions, and that should be your aim. Resume points come later. You know, yes, if you'd like to add something.
Yeah. On the fun fact, have someone who can globe in the PPT as well during Q&A. Go ahead.
Yeah. So just last word is that the other three hotshots which are here, they had those top tier consult shortlists in summers, and I didn't. But I had all these shortlists in the finals because of these competitions. That's true. But my aim was never to get the shortlist, get the resume points, because if that's your aim, there are a lot of people who could not make it in the competitions and they lost hope. So never lose hope. Always try to learn something new, and that will make you go on and on in the competitions. Well, that's it from the B plan idea based competitions. We'll move to the case based competitions. Kabra and Aditi.
Yeah. So, let's move to the case-based or problem statement-based competition. So these are as compared to idea-based competitions where there is a very open-ended problem statement where you just have to suggest some idea. These are very pinpointed problems. So say we had a Flipkart case study competition, which was about acquisition of new users from tier 2, tier 3 cities. So it's a very pinpointed problem. So I'll just give you a basic framework as to how to approach these problem statement based competitions, and then maybe we can have a PPT that we presented for Airtel. So the first point is research. So both secondary and primary research is very important for any competition. For secondary research, we just listed down a few sources. You can you have a very good IMB library resource set. So you can use all these Euromonitor, CRISIL research for reports for numbers to understand the problem better. Again, the second thing is solutions from China, US. They're very like if you go abroad, you get these are problems that people have already worked on over there. So you can get a very good idea about how they approached the problem and what solutions they used, and you can modify it for the Indian market. So say for Flipkart, since it was an e-commerce related problem, we went on to study how China, Alibaba did social commerce, and revolved our solution around that. For Airtel, the problem was more of a product or camera launch, so we went and studied how the products in US are, what features do those cameras offer. So you can go on to different countries and see what solutions they have adopted and maybe use those as well. And third one is startups which are addressing a similar problem. It will be simpler for you to identify those startups and maybe understand what they are trying to do. So this was for the secondary research. For the primary research, you can of course float forms and have surveys. Other thing that you can do is identify what customers you want to target, and maybe you can go and interview those customers. You'll have people in family, you'll have your friends who are working. So maybe just go test your idea with them, tell them that this is the problem, what solution do they like, is your solution do they like your solution. Maybe just test a few scenarios and cases and try to understand like how practical or feasible your solution is in general through the primary research. So next, moving on to the customer journey, the first major important part is identifying what is the customer segment that you would want you're targeting. So you have to identify those customers, highlight what their pain points are, and like what exactly do they require from your solution, what will suit them and what will not suit them. So as Karthik and Swam also pointed out, identify what is the current scenario, and then finally make recommendations according to what their needs will be or what they require. So in recommendations, your recommendations should be clearly mapped to the pain points that they are facing. So identify pain points for each target customer segment and map your solution very clearly as to why you are recommending something and why do you think it will work. So uh, that is one point for recommendation. Secondly, make sure that all your recommendations are very feasible and viable. Do not give some recommendation which the company might not be able to implement at all, or something which is a lot of stretch, like which might not be very feasible for the company. So that's for the feasibility part. Timeline is very important. You should phase out your recommendations in short term, long term. What is the immediate action that you recommend the company to take, and in the long term, what are the systems, processes, or any long term measures that the company can take to solve the problem, or maybe do the things better. So after you're done with recommendations, you move on to the GTM and financials. Now in GTM, you should be very clear. If it's a product, how do you want to price the product? How do you want, like which channels do you want to reach the customer through, in terms of both how do you want to sell the product and how do you want to promote the product. So promotion and marketing is also very important. You should be very clear as to how you want to reach the target customer. So that's about the go to market strategy. And finally, financial viability. It's a given that financials is very important for every case competition. Even if they ask in the problem statement or not, you should have a proper financial backup for all the recommendations. Is it viable? If you're suggesting some marketing strategy, what is the return on investment? You can maybe try to you come up with 10 marketing strategies, maybe select based on financial viability and return on investment as to which one is better, what should you go with. So you should have a proper backing with how much with any, say you're saying if you want to promote on social media, so what is the reach that you'll get, what is the customer acquisition cost, what is the conversion rate. You should be clear with all the figures very clearly, because that comes up a lot in the Q&A round. So I think that is more or less with the basic framework. If you want to add something, Piyush, over here, otherwise we can move on to the slides.
So, so I've just a point to add. So, all these companies come for case competition just either because they are facing a problem, because they have actually faced the problem and they are actually doing something to tackle it. But somehow, one way or the other, they are not able to do so. So, what they are looking for, first of all, two things. First is your focus on the consumer itself. So, all the companies that would come to campus would mostly be consumer facing companies. Their focus is primarily consumer. So the first two steps that we mentioned, research and customer journey, you should be very, very thorough with it. Like for example, let's say Flipkart said that they want to acquire consumers in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. The first step to your solution is कि ऐसा क्यों नहीं हो रहा? Like Flipkart is such a big company, IT, IIM हर जगह से engineer काम कर रहे हैं. Still they are not able to do so and they are asking you for an idea. So your first step should be कि why like Flipkart with such an amazing app, such an amazing team is not able to do so. So your first focus should be on consumer कि भाई ऐसा क्या है company में कि we are not able to acquire it. And once you are clear with that consumer thing, then only you should give those recommendations. And they, as Aditi mentioned, just to reiterate, like that is the most important part of your PPT, where you say ki, this is the exact problem and this is how our recommendation will tackle the problem. And then the hygienic things would flow, which would be your GTM, which would be your financial, which would be your marketing strategy. So make sure your focus, like at least the initial focus when you start on the competition, is essentially gathering, reading about the problem as much as you can. As she mentioned, what is happening in other countries, what are the startups doing. So just understand ki, why the problem exists and what are the innovative ways to solve it. So that is essentially your answer to the problem, and then you go ahead and build a whole story around it with all the uh, financials, with all the numbers, with all the total addressable market and everything. And one other resource that you can leverage are all the consult reports. So McKinsey, BCG, Bain, and all the top tier consulting, even KPMG, would have those, good reports that you could leverage, especially for problem case competition based problems. So make sure, they would be essentially available on Google. So just Google search them and utilize those reports, especially for, digitization or anything related to new technology. So a lot of reports are available. So make sure you leverage those reports as well. So yeah, I think.
Yeah. Piyush, do you want to cover this first or should we move to the Airtel PPT first?
Yeah, I think maybe we can do the like run through the Airtel PPT, and then maybe we can.
Okay.
Karthik, if you could stop the screen. Yeah.
So just a heads up, generally in the final round, it's a time-based thing. So you have 10 minutes to present. In some competitions, we had a slide limit as well. But in this particular case competition, we just had a time restriction. We had no slide limit. So it's always better if you have no slide limits to, maybe put out things very clearly and, so that people are not confused and they can clearly see what is there on the slide. If there's a slide restriction, obviously you'll have to cramp up things a little, but try to free up space as much as possible and make things clear because you're presenting most of the things. So a light slide always works when you're presenting your deck. So right, so we started, so basically I'll just explain the problem statement. Airtel wanted to enter the home surveillance security market, and they were looking for a end-to-end plan as to how they should enter the market. So we started out with some secondary research about how the video surveillance market is expected to grow and there is a rising trend and why Airtel can go into it. Next is primary research as to what uh, do people exactly want. Do people like, are people looking for such home security solutions? What do they currently do? Are they willing to pay for such a solution? So you go and understand the market better. So next slide. So through the insights, you arrive at the primary considerations of the customers in the design of your offering. What is it that they are looking for when you are designing your offering? Next slide. So through the insights, you just, we basically suggested two solutions, one indoor solution and an outdoor solution for them. So you just give out the features very clearly. What is it that you want to be there? Like, what do you want to be there in the product? And so like these are a few visualizations of wireframes that we made for the app. So
As like I would just like to reiterate, like you, as Karthik and Swam also mentioned, like you need to be able to visualize your solution, and this is exactly what you are doing here through wireframes.
yeah.
So you can suggest whatever you want to, but at the end of the day, it should be feasible, and the jury should be able to visualize in that limited time that this is how your solution looks like. So this is where wireframes help, and lot of case problems would be related to tech based companies. So you can leverage uh, and make wireframes because they are not so hard to make, and they kind of give out good impression that you have thought through the solution and even have looked at the how the end product would look like.
And like obviously it gives you it gives the interview the jury an impression that you have gone a step ahead and done something else. So as they mentioned that they also made videos, so that's also a very good thing to do. So this is, as I talked about, mapping the customer requirements to your solution. So you need to clearly understand what is the customer requirement and clearly state what is it, what feature is it, what feature is there in your product which the customer might be interested in or which the customer will look forward to. So these are a few customer scenarios that we presented. So next slide. Obviously, you should have a competitor analysis because no analysis is complete without looking what your competitors are doing and how to use fair against your competitors. So next slide. So here we tried to understand, so we had a look at what the competitors are doing and then finally identified what can we do better and what are we doing differently. So basically, what is the unique value proposition of our offering for Airtel? So what features will provide Airtel the right to win in the crowded market that is there? So always try to do a capability analysis in terms of what capabilities does the company currently have, what can it leverage, and what are the capabilities which the company will require to build over time. So it shows a very clear feasibility. It like talks about the feasibility as well in terms of are those capabilities buildable, do they need to acquire them, what is the action plan that you would want to present. So this is how like we thought of taking the product to the end customer in terms of pricing the plans and having different subscription plans for the users. Next slide. So just a few plans, how do we want to price the product? So go in details, talk about everything, whatever you have thought through. So it shows that you've thought through everything. You want to bundle it with something else. What prices do you want? What plans do you want? So give a very detailed analysis of it. Next slide. Finally, promotion. What are the channels through which you want to promote? How do you want to go about it? Just an overview of the promotion strategy, social media marketing. How do you want to increase customer engagement? So as I said, you should have very clear financials and very clear numbers. Can you go back to the previous slide, Krish? In terms of what is the budget that you would want to allocate, what is the reach that you can get, what are the leads that you can get. So you'll have, it should not be that, you know, you just go and say, okay, go use Insta, go use YouTube. You should have a little more depth in when you're saying that you should use YouTube, because if you spend this much, you'll get a reach of say 60 lakhs. So you should be very clear with why you are recommending this particular channel. Finally, how do you want to engage the customers? What are the channels through which you want to sell, the stores, e-commerce, website, app? So what are the various touch points that you would want with the customer? Again, timeline is very important. Just give a timeline as to how you visualize the product launch, as they also mentioned Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. Just give a timeline. It shows that you've thought about how do you want to go about exactly launching the product. So implementation is very important. And finally, financials, in terms of how feasible is the financials. Finally, give takeaways, because no one will want to go in depth in these charts and, you know, find out relevant numbers. So just mention key takeaways at the end, the important figures, market, revenue, profit margin, what is the opportunity, so that people are very clear with what the estimated revenue or, you know, estimated financials will be. So I think these are the like major hygiene factors that you can think of covering in your PPT.
So, yeah, so this was basically a PPT that we presented in the final round. So this was a PPT for national finals. So now that you know you would have competitions where you just need to submit the PPT, and based on that you would be selected. And these would be the round one, round two of these corporate competitions. And these would mostly be, you know, you would have certain limitation on the slide that you can have at least, let's say, 2 slider or 5 slider. So in those kind of case competitions also you need to cover all these topics, but since there is a slide limit, what you can do is you can cramp up the slide as much as you can. So you can increase the size of the slide that you have and cram the material as much as you can, because it is impossible to, you know, just present the slide very openly when you have so much material to present. So I'll just show you the Colgate submission that we did.
Yeah.
I'm not
And
sure.
if there's a slide limit, just make sure your solution is end to end. That's very important. So
I'm
do
not
not
sure if so
Death by PPT.
It's a lot of material on one slide, but
Slideshow करते
but
थोड़ा.
but you sort of have to do it when there is a crunch. So in Colgate, we had a crunch of like we could only use 2 slides. So as you can see, the slide size is also increased, but we have covered almost everything that we have mentioned. We started with research, then what other companies are doing in terms of let's say companies like Fitbit, Cadbury, then what was our idea, then what was our recommendation, what were the customer segments. So all these things we have covered, and we have tried to put it in a way so that the person knows, yes, we have worked on the problem, and if we are given a chance to come and present, we'll do a good job. So that is the aim of first round or the second round. So what you need to do in these sort of rounds is sort of cramp up your PPT and do as much research as you can and be creative with your solutions. So for example, if you just see the slide and I give you like, let's say 30 seconds, you'll sort of see those icons that I have on the left side where someone will recognize ki, haan, you have seen what other companies are doing in terms of Cadbury, Lego, Fitbit. And on the right hand side, you can see that I have multiple customer target segments in terms of elite housewife, young executive, hostel student. Then I have recommendations which include family pack, kids special. So I have done some work, and like the PPT is good enough so that someone can come and present. So even in those 2 sliders, we try to include our whole financials, as you can see. So almost our right side is full financials, right from, as Karthik mentioned. So we have followed the top-down approach where we started from number of cities and reached the total addressable market. And then we analyzed what would be the cost and what would be the break-even analysis. So even in the first submission, we had the whole financial model of the recommendation that we are making, and it is very necessary because then only they get to know that you have worked on the problem for long enough that given let's say few weeks more, you would be able to improvise on your solution that the company could really utilize, because that at the end of the day, that is what companies looking for. Even if you give them, let's say, one good recommendation, that is good enough for them, but they want it to be end to end, like right from how did you arrive at the recommendation and what will it take to implement that recommendation. That is just what the company wants. So make sure when you have one or two slider submission, try to sort of fit material as much as you can, to be blunt. Like fill the slides, and so that it's very difficult for anyone to just read around. So yeah, I think that would be it for case competitions.
Right, मेहनत वाला काम है guys. ऐसे नहीं
So
है.
first and second round mein, I think this is the motto that the hard work should be sort of visible to whoever is checking your solution.
Yeah, basically in the first, second round, the filtering is done by a little lower level of employee set. वो बस देखते हैं कि if you have done enough work, are the slides nice? Is there enough content? So the top tier management does not do the initial shortlisting. So they just see कि कितना मेहनत किया, कितना slide भरा है. So maybe you can try filling up the slides a little.
I think that's about it for case competitions. Moving on to the third category, like I'll finish this pretty quick. So the last one would be sort of finance-based competitions. So these would be very specific competitions. Like I did 3 competitions: CFA, VCIC, and Credit Research Challenge. And every college fest would have some finance-based competition, be it Deal Pro, Invista, Investworks, and Eximius, and even Red Brick Summit has Exchequers. So for finance-based competitions, Karthik, if you could share the slide as well.
Sure.
So for finance-based competitions, it is purely based on interest. Like it first of all, it requires a huge effort, because you generally would have to value the whole company. So it's not a resume point thing, first of all. So just don't do finance competitions for resume point of view. It's when you want to learn finance and when you're actually interested in to make your career in finance. That is where it is important, because it will require a lot of effort. You have to go through multiple annual reports, make report, like a lot of these competitions have word reports instead of PPTs, and that require much greater effort because the formatting in Word is difficult to do, and you need to put numbers from Excel. You need to make proper Excel models, and that's very difficult to learn, at least initially. So it will take some time to grasp finance-based competitions. CFA and VCIC would be, first you would have a campus round, and then you would eventually go into the national round. So that is how they are structured, and you would obviously get a mail in your second year whenever CFA and VCIC happens. Credit Research Challenge is an external competition where you need to apply. There is some sort of application fee as well. That is external competition, and that is sort of when you analyze the company from debt holders' perspective. So if you don't understand the words, just let it go. Don't do these competitions. So anyone who is interested, you analyze in Credit Research Challenge, you analyze it from debt holders' perspective. So major pointers you need to keep in mind when you're doing these competitions. First is the team formation. So in case competitions or in idea-based competitions, you can still have someone who is doing the competition, who can add, let's say, some new ideas. But finances, it has a certain structure, and you need to know certain techniques. You need to essentially know valuation. You need to be able to go through annual reports. So team formation is pretty important. So take people who actually know finance and who are actually interested in finance. So both of them sort of form the necessary condition. And structure of the competitions is slightly different. In the case that you would have, let's say, for example, let's say CFA Research Challenge, only certain colleges would be allowed to participate. VCIC, only 7 colleges participate, and the top teams then fight it out to become national winner. Credit Research Challenge, anyone can participate, even non-students can participate. So these are the things that you need to look out when you are doing finance. Other would be the effort versus return. So as I mentioned, these competitions will require huge effort. For example, CFA, we have been doing it for like 6 months. We have valued 2 or 3 companies. So it would require huge effort, because in a case competition, what you can do is you can use the same sort of structure or these recommendation that you did in your first round, and you can utilize it in the subsequent rounds. But now in these competitions, as you clear the round, your next round will be completely different. So you need to start afresh. So that is where it takes a lot of effort as compared to the idea based, or let's say the case based competitions. And the returns are not, from the CV perspective, are not that great. From the learnings perspective, I've like, since I've done finance based competition and I'm not from finance background, they are absolutely the best thing to do. Like courses, I understand, like I've been through the same courses, there's not too much learning. But when you do these competitions, when you value those companies, when you like go into the nitty-gritties of valuation, you will actually understand finance. So for someone who is genuinely interested in finance, I would suggest do these competitions. At least do 2 or 3 competitions in Vista and Eximius, and then maybe you can move on to CFA Challenge or VCIC, and that would be really helpful. Just to improve your skills in finance. That is what they did for me. Any questions? I think someone can ping me personally, and would be happy to tell you more about these competitions. So I think this is all we wanted to cover. Lastly, we just wanted to touch upon the Q&A, because that's also sort of forms an important part. Because for example, a lot of competitions would have 50 to 60% of your time when you're presenting, and 30 to 40% would be Q&A. So Q&A would be one of the most important aspects when you're going around. So that is the last point that we'll touch upon. So my advice for the Q&A would be, especially in this virtual, I suppose your also these case competitions would happen virtually. What you can do is you can have specific people assigned to specific topics. So let's say if a question in finance comes, this guy will answer. If a question in recommendation comes, this guys will answer. So you can assign specific topics to a specific guy. So that would be the simplest thing to do. But generally, the questions would be, I don't know, somehow random, and most of us, like, it happened to us many times that none of us knew the answer. So that is where one of you needs to take a head up and maybe give a logical answer to that. If he asks why didn't you do that, you need to justify your answer ki haan, we did not do this because we felt like this. You can't be silent and say ki bhai humne nahi kiya ye. So make sure you are confident enough in your Q&A, and whatever you have done, you justify it well. And other advice would be relating to like what we did in our case competitions is, we had sort of, when we had a dry run for our presentations, we sort of, the other one would list down the possible questions that one could ask from what we were speaking. So that is one other thing you can do on the previous day or 2 days before, whenever your presentation is ready. You can try and maybe jot down 10 to 15 questions which you feel could be asked, and try and gather their answer. So that would be really helpful in the Q&A, and you actually should focus on Q&A a lot.
So,
Anything else you want to add? Yeah.
like for all idea-based competition, Karthik and I have figured out that all idea-based competition are won in Q&A round. Majorly, how can you justify your product? So ensure that at least we had a proper FAQ sheet formed before the competition, where what all possible questions, some medical related aspects of our product, some technical details that we might forget during the presentation time, we had noted down pretty well, and be rehearsed with that. That shows your preparedness for the competition.
Right, and for every competition, reach out to the previous year winners, try to get hold of their PPT and their experience or their online there will be some YouTube videos around the previous year competition. So get a hold of that. That gives you a lot of idea of how the competition judges you and what are they looking for. So that is also an important thing to consider. Now
And
we'll
like,
open. Yeah.
avoid saying that you haven't done something if they ask you that did you think of it, or do you know why you did not do this. Avoid saying that we never thought of it. Just say that okay, we thought of it but we did not do it because XYZ. Do not accept totally that you have not thought of a scenario or thought of a possible scenario. That gives a very negative impression.
Someone in the chat is asking that how much of lost learnings and time during the first year. So frankly, nothing. Like you can start right now. Like I did not do too many case competitions in my first year. I directly started from my second year. So definitely you will not do well in your first 2 or 3 competitions. It's a given, or you are a genius if you do well. So it's difficult to get going from the start. Just participate in 3 or 4 competitions. Do your best, and then you will eventually realize like what needs to be done. So once you have a hang of it, it's not that difficult, or it's not rocket science. It's sort of a supply chain, as I said. That you need to do consumer research, you need to give recommendations, you need to make GTM, and you need to make financials. So it's not that difficult. Once you get a hang of it, you'll realize that you'll make PPTs way faster than you could imagine. And that is exactly what happened to us. I think me and Aditi did not do many case competitions in first year. I think we specifically started from second year, and like it was not a hindrance at all.
And as Swam also mentioned, that start with the college level competitions. They are a very good learning experience in terms of what PPTs do you want to make, how do you want to present it. So like try and get your hands dirty on the college competitions first, and then maybe you can try corporate competitions. And like just don't give up. Even if you do not get selected in a few competitions, it's okay. Just keep trying, keep submitting. Gradually you'll have a template ready for everything. Financials है तो ये use करना है, marketing है तो ये use करना है. So at the end you'll have a template ready, and it will just become very quick for you. So I think it will be okay at the end.
You will visit D2C more than you visit Google.
That's
So,
true.
thank you so much, guys. So now let's open the floor for questions. If anybody has any questions, please raise your hands. So I will ask. Or you can also put in chat.
So 2 questions have, I think, come in chat. First is any specific electives that might help, and second is how did you manage such good PPTs, prior experience or courses? So as far as electives for these competitions are concerned, I don't think there's any such elective which will help you in sort of these competitions. 2 courses that I can think of would be related to marketing. I think maybe ConB, consumer behavior, and let's say RMD, or marketing related subjects basically. So that those will sort of help you in how do you understand the consumer better, or like how do you make a survey, how do you take out those results from the survey, and what inferences kind of you make from those surveys. So that is where those sort of electives help. Having said that, these competitions, like apart from the structure that we told you, it's also about what sort of creativity are you able to bring to the table. Like these companies have as like a lot of employees, those who are working on the same problem. The problem is that they are not able to think out of the box. So what these companies are specifically looking for is, first, like the most important point would be your creativity and your solution, whether it is it is something that no one in the company could have thought of. So that is where your differentiation lies. But the hygienic factors that I talked about, right from the consumer research to the GTM, these marketing subjects would help you from my understanding.
PSM is also a very nice course if you really want to learn how to ace competitions. So product strategy management. That's a good elective that you can take up.
So meanwhile, if nobody has any questions, I think there were a lot of questions asked in the registration link we floated. I'm just trying to combine all the questions and ask a couple of them. So one question was when we talked about the 2-page submissions, if it is a 1-page submission, how will what all points are required to actually stand out in a 1-page submission?
Yeah, I think as we talked about, it's the same thing as a 2-pager or 1-pager submissions. You can't just leave out important things. You should have an end-to-end plan or strategy in your solution, and just maybe reduce the font size, cramp it up, increase the slide size, but try to cover everything as much as possible. So I think that's the major strategy that I feel is important.
Maybe in the if the submission is one slider, what you can do is instead of having too many details around, let's say, financials, because if you saw in Colgate, we had about half a page on the financials itself. So what you can do, you can just reduce the financials and just put the broad numbers. That is, let's say, 100 crore profit opportunity that we have, 50% profit margin that we have, and reduce the marketing strategy. But your focus in one page solution should be the consumer research that you have done and the solution that you have come up with, because that would form the core of your whole PPT. So maybe you can focus on those two, and you can like, let's say, give lesser space to financials and the marketing strategies. The competition is not about obviously marketing, because a lot of marketing competitions come, and there obviously you have to give out what are the innovative marketing strategies that you have thought of. So that is one thing which you can do.
I think Shubham has raised his hand. Shubham, can you unmute us?
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. I had a question. How do you check the company's capability? Like you mentioned in the Airtel slide, and HUL also. So how do you understand that?
Well, that was ITC slide. So see, when you are checking whatever product that you have, let's say you think of a product that you want to extend HUL or ITC's product line. Now you would definitely require to manufacture it, then distribute, or let's say get access to raw materials, manufacture, then distribute, market. So if the raw materials are common to what the products that they produce already are there. So let's say we are producing a disinfectant in washrooms. A Savlon already has some disinfectant. So the raw materials are same, manufacturing capabilities, there could be some synergies there, right? So you check the existing products and then figure out whether your products fit into their product line or not. Now let's come to distribution. Now, if you're producing something that is a disinfectant, your distribution channel would be relative to chemists or those different types of modern trade, right? Not on a general store. You won't find Dettol on a general store, right? You'll find them on a chemist. So if, let's say, you're producing HUL's product, you may not have good access to chemists. So disinfectant for HUL may not work, but disinfectant for Dettol, RB, or ITC, Savlon would work. So that way you have to figure out the manufacturing, distribution, marketing capabilities and figure out whether the product fits into their product line or not.
Thank you, Shubham. I think there's one question in the chat by Shri Priya Sinha. So she's asking if we are not able to make a working model or a prototype of an idea, should we rule out the idea or go ahead with it?
Okay, I'll take that question. Basically, I'll tell you, Reliance TUP 4.2, the seniors, as PGP2s, they were the winners, national winners, without a prototype. And everyone in the national finals had a prototype of their product. So it's not necessary that you should have a working model of or a prototype of your idea, but at least an MVP where you can show how the product looks like, or how will it be presentable in the market, right? You must not have no one expects as a student you to have a proper working model of a prototype of a product, but at least you should have a demonstration. Like Piyush and Aditi, they had wireframes, right, in their presentation. So such demonstration should be good to go with. And yes, it's not mostly about your prototype or your working model. It's more about the idea that you have.
Got it. Thanks.
I think
Thank you. So there's one more question, which is regarding the library resources for secondary research. What are your suggestions for library resources?
I guess Piyush did share and Aditi also share that Euromonitor is really a nice resource that you can use. Otherwise, you can obviously Google, and after you've put in the topic, just press a space bar, type PDF, you'll get a lot of reports. Piyush mentioned there are consult reports, which are really important, top tier ones as well as KPMG, right, Piyush? So you can obviously leverage those. So I remember we had a competition regarding the OTT industry. So their KPMG reports were really nice. So just figure out the reports. I mean, all the case comms, all the topics, already a lot of consulting companies are working around them. So you will find material, right? Then you can look at adjacent industries. So if there is a company looking to enter into a D2C market or wants to innovate around it, so go ahead, research about IKEA and how they entered into D2C furniture or modeling, a lot of things. So those kind of things really help. So adjacent industries and just Googling would also work. I don't know that how many of you have access to library resources. I mean, people outside IIM Bangalore. Euromonitor is a good resource if you are in IIM Bangalore. If you're not, Google would also work.
Great.
Yeah, there are other websites, Statista and other databases as well you can explore for numbers, specific stats and figures. So, and there's India stat for any number related to Indian population and kind of a particular location that you would want to see. So there are a few websites all across. You can just Google them and you can have a list of databases available.
I think few people have messaged me regarding the PPTs, like how are you able to make such good PPTs? So I think first of all, from my experience, I think you just start off making PPTs. Like your first PPT will not be good, definitely. So just start making PPTs, and once you have a good template for a slide, then you can use that template, across every competition or across most of the competitions that you have. So that is what we generally do. So that would be like my advice on it, and I think Karthik sort of makes the best slides here, so he can also advise you on that.
Take the slides from your seniors, edit them. Take my slides, Piyush's slide, Aditi's slide, Sohem's slide. You have 4 templates.
Yeah.
Edit them, use whichever you like. Yeah. We've also taken slides from our seniors and edited them. Right? Nobody makes the templates themselves. Yeah.
Thank you, Karthik, for generously sharing the details. So I think we don't have any more questions. If it's fine, we can end the session. Any more questions? Cool. I think we are done for the evening. So just a small word of thanks. So thank you so much for joining in, who all have joined in, and participants. I think there were some great insights, and we hope the night was great. And we'd also like to thank all the PGP2s who have joined and shared their experience and giving their precious time to us. All the best, everyone, and have a great night. Thank you.
Welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.